welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing some test hands here for Nekroz. It is blazing hot right now. It's extremely hot. It's actually really late already. I think it's already 2 AM right now, close to 3 AM actually. But yeah, it's just extremely hot. The weather is just not pleasant at all. And hey, you know what? It's summer and we can't help it. You know, that's how Australia is. But you know what, it's not too long from now that summer will finally end, so I'm very much so looking forward to that. But with that being said, let's just get started with this particular test hand video. Hopefully I could actually pull through, because with the heat right now, it is definitely going to be frying my brain. Alright, very interesting of course, because we have quite a good start. I mean, we do have Talismandra, we do have Candle, so I'm not going to complain too much about that. I mean, either way, you could still definitely do quite a bit of things here. So obviously, you don't have a ritual spell to pull off Candle just yet, but you do have Manju. That's definitely going to be quite nice, but you also have Talismandra as well. So let's see, since we're going first in this scenario, we could actually just go for the Manju, and Manju just allows us to add whatever we want. So in this case, I'm thinking about going for Bryonic, just because Bryonic can actually allow us to search for whatever we want later on. Alright, so let's see, what else can we do here? I mean, the situation is weird because we have Talismandra and Candle in the hand, but I definitely want to pull off the Talismandra, so we're just gonna go with the Talismandra, reveal it, special summon it by revealing the Bryonic of course, and this will allow us to summon out our Candle from the deck instead. So in this case, we'll bring out Candle, and once Candle is actually special summoned, it allows us to actually add our incantation, any ritual spell from our deck to our hand. So in this case, you want to think, what do you actually want to go for in this case? You have Bryonic and you have Trishula, which is definitely quite nice of course, but you also have to consider the fact that you have quite a few different cards here that you want to work with. So I'm thinking about going for, I mean, either way it wouldn't be too bad. I mean, we could just go for the standard, where is it? The standard ritual, wherever it is, Nekroz Mirror, and I think that might be okay. I don't know, should I go for this? Yeah, this would be fine, because... No, actually, I'll go for Kaleidoscope. What am I thinking? I think Kaleidoscope would be good. And we'll discard the Bryonic, of course. This will allow us to obviously add our yugioh, which is obviously going to be really amazing, of course, because we can now activate Kaleidoscope and send off our Herald of the Arclight, and this will pretty much allow us to search out or special summon out our yugioh, which is definitely going to be quite nice at this point. Now of course, with Herald of Arclight we can add a ritual monster or ritual spell from our deck to our hand. So in this case, it makes me think, what do I actually want to go for now? Because we do technically have Trishula, but obviously we're not going to go into it. I think there's no need for that. You could think about going for, let's see here. Interesting. We could still go for some other place to maybe set us up later. For example, Cycle if yugioh gets destroyed. Or in this case, we could even go for... We could go for Ben 10. I mean, that could be interesting. Because we could go for Ben 10, then we could go for Candle, which would then, on our next turn of course, which would allow us to then special summon out maybe another Talismandra, or maybe we would be able to special summon out one of our other incantations, and then bring back the Bryonic and reuse it with the Ben 10 next turn for a ritual summon, which would be quite nice, allowing us to ultimately also grab our Christie of course. But right now having the yugioh alone is pretty much a huge lock on the opponent, so they can't really do too much, and even if they were to attempt to do something, You have Nibiru, so that's definitely quite nice. Of course, you could also just extend with the Talismandra, the Kendo, and the Manju, of course, because there are quite a plethora of options available for you. So you have Phoenix, Cerberus, you could even go for Anaconda as well, in the situation that you actually went into game 2 or something and you want to use your side deck which had the Super Polys for the Anaconda. So that would have also been nice as well. But in this case, I'm quite happy with what we actually have, so let's move on. Alright, so very interesting in this particular scenario. We could still definitely do stuff. I mean, the thing is this, as long as you have the incantations, you're fine. You could do anything you want. So in this case, you want to think, what do you actually want to go for? You do have Kaleidoscope, which means maybe you could actually go for your Unicorn, but you also have Ben 10 in hand, so it makes you kind of think, hey, maybe I could go for some Christia plays. That would definitely be quite nice, and it is definitely possible to do either or. So let's see, in this situation, do we want to add a Ritual Monster or Ritual Spell? In this case, we're going to go for a Ritual Monster, so I'm going to go for Candle this time, and then reveal Ben 10, of course. Well, reveal the Kaleidoscope in this case, and this will allow us to obviously special summon out our Talismandra from the deck, the other one, of course, and this will then obviously allow us to add a Bryonic to our hand. So in this case, it makes me think, what should I go for in this scenario now? Should I actually just go for the Ritual Summon? Or should I go for something else? I mean, I could technically discard the Bryonic, and this would allow me to actually add our Trishula, right? Could we go for Trishula? We could technically go for Trishula, and I don't know, this makes it very interesting because the dynamic is definitely very different here. It's one of the decks that really just allows you to think, and that's one of the decks I really like about this. You know, one of the traits that really just work well for this. So you could technically just go for a regular Ritual Summon, so Kaleidoscope could be used by getting rid of Ben 10, and this will allow us to bring out Bryonic. And although it doesn't seem as optimal since you use Ben 10, it does technically allow you to actually go for your Christia. Now, of course, this is very risky because let's say your opponent was playing Ash Blossom, then you can't really do anything about it. They just stopped your search for Ben 10, and this is only effective as long as Ben 10 goes off. So in this case, you could actually just tribute off these two and simply summon out your Christia. In that case, you just locked out your opponent, so that's quite amazing. And of course, you have Bryonic as well. And yeah, on your next turn, you have these two cards to work with, so that's great. And even if they empty your field, Christia will go into the top of the deck. And of course, you also have your Kaleidoscope at the ready as well whenever you need, so that's quite fantastic as grave effects. And yeah, I wouldn't complain about this hand at all. Alright, very interesting. In this hand, we actually have Christia right off the bat, so it does actually kind of prepare us for our plays. Of course, don't be influenced just because you drew a particular card. It's not really getting you anywhere, but we also have Unicorn, so it does make things quite interesting. Firstly, of course, we do have Bryonic, so that's definitely fantastic. I do want you guys to actually remember the fact that even though Bryonic is now at 3 copies, you also have to keep in mind that it is still a hard once per turn, so the preparation of rights to actually add the Bryonic is kind of unnecessary in this case. Not to mention, preparation of rights, you don't really have to add Ben 10 anymore because we already have Christia in the hand, and the only reason we're really going for Ben 10 is to actually go for the Christia. So as you can see, we kind of like have this free card to just search for pretty much everything we want, and we already have Unicorn as well in the hand. It's just amazing right now. So honestly, yeah, you have quite a bit of options. You could search out a second copy of Bryonic or Unicorn however you want, but we're just going to keep this right here, and yeah, we'll see. I mean, at this point I'm thinking obviously let's discard Bryonic, and this will obviously allow us to search, and we don't have any ritual spells to really, well, we do, but you get what I mean. I'm going to search out our Clauselus, and Clauselus will obviously allow us to search, and discard. For a ritual spell, we're going for Kaleidoscope. We're going to activate Kaleidoscope and send off our Herald of Arclight once more, and this will simply allow us to go for our Yugioh. Absolutely fantastic, of course. But of course, you also have to keep in mind, Herald of Arclight allows us to also search for either a ritual spell or a ritual monster, so it is definitely up to you what you actually want to go for in this case. So I'm just going to take a quick look here and see what we have. So let's see, what could we actually add in this particular situation? In this case, I'm thinking, you know what, let's just go for a bit of protection. So I'm actually just going to go for the Gungnir in this situation. But you could technically also go for the Preparation of Rites. So the Preparation of Rites afterwards would allow us to then activate it, and then we'll bring out the Chalice Line, and then from there we could essentially just bring back our spell, of course. That's fine, it kind of opens up some options here. Oh my goodness guys, I actually just completely recorded the rest of the play and I had the camera actually just not running, so that was quite embarrassing because I actually just finished off that entire video, and yeah, that's just awful. I can't believe I did that, but I pretty much tracked it back and I got to the point where I left off at. So basically this is what we have now. We added back the Kaleidoscope with the Preparation of Rites. Preparation of Rites also added us the Chalice Line, which is a level 7 of course, and now we could actually make our play. So essentially you could go for your Chalice Line, reveal it, and then discard your Kaleidoscope. This will allow us to special summon out an incantation, so I'm going to bring out the Talismandra, which would allow me to add my Trishula. So the Trishula wasn't meant to be in the hand, but it would have been added via the Talismandra. So now you technically have this on the field. You can now activate the Mirror, and Mirror would then tribute off the Chalice Line and special summon out the Gungnir. Now of course that means that you won't take the repercussions of the Chalice Line, which is definitely fantastic. Now it might seem ridiculous of me, but I'm going to tribute off the Gungnir and I'm also going to tribute off the Talismandra, and we're going to get rid of them to summon out the Christia. Having these two cards out, absolutely amazing. It's basically this lock. Your opponent firstly can't even special summon, period. So they're gonna somehow have to get rid of Christia. But of course you also have here the Yugioh, so even if they somehow manage to get rid of Christia and bring out their extra deck monsters, they're still going to be locked out by Yugioh. If your opponent wants to do anything to you as well, you have a Trishula ready to discard and protect your Yugioh. Keep in mind you also have plenty of cards like the ritual spells to search for more cards later on anyway, so it's absolutely fantastic. It does actually open up plenty of options. We don't really have to worry too much about anything. And this is pretty much it for the test hands going first. So I do hope you guys actually enjoyed this. Definitely leave me your thoughts on what you thought about each of these plays. Definitely tell me what you guys would do. This deck here, I can guarantee it will never be sold off. I'll never get rid of him. You will never see it in Project E, I promise you that, because this deck is just way too dynamic. It does so many different things. You just really think, you know, it really forces you to think different plays and everything like that, and it's incredible. It's a really fun deck, and it's just something I picture myself keeping forever and playing forever. So yeah, with that being said, definitely drop a like if you enjoyed this video. Also share it as well, because it really helps out. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos just like this. However, in the meantime, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, because I will be doing here test hands going second later on, so definitely stay tuned for that. Honestly, this particular deck itself, I could easily just go on and do test hands forever and ever. So let's say next time I did an updated deck profile for Nekroz, I could easily just do more test hands for this particular deck, just because the plays are so different that it's worth actually showing you. Honestly, I could actually do test hand videos, well, a huge test hand video for this, for maybe 3 or 4 hours straight, and it would still be very different each of the plays that actually goes about, because this deck is just really amazing, and yeah, it just does so many different things. But with that being said, I do hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you next time.